We definitely have cold, wet, rainy fall weather here in northern Wisconsin. Looks like it's going to be that way for the next couple days. Next week, it's supposed to get a little bit of a warm spell. Probably get out and run some boats. But I'm going through my boats in the meantime, ones that I want to run next week, and kind of getting them ready. This is my ZippKits G30 outboard tunnel haul. Should be ready to go. Charge the batteries and drop it in the water. But first, I'm going to check the gear lube. This is what I run in the lower end. I'll just draw some lube up into this syringe and then remove this set screw on the lower end. And this is a screw in this nose cone shaped piece here. Unscrew that, and then I'll inject the lube in here till it comes out up there, and then I know it's full. Here it is with the covers off. Pretty sweet setup. Got the waterproof radio box. Got this pull cable system for the outboard. Servos in there. I'm running a rebranded Flycolor 150 MPSC by Offshore Electrics. It has the extra cat packs on it. And a Leopard motor. 3660 can, 2050 kV. So she's got a pretty strong electronics package in it. I could fit this size motor, the 3660 can, on this outboard because I made this balsa and fiberglass covered cowling, so it will fit underneath the cowling. Also gives it a nice scale appearance. This is the Scale 7 outboard from Offshore Electrics. And so far on 6S, I haven't had any issues with the lower end. Just make sure I keep it lubed. And for sure, no problems running it on 4S. But so this interface here, it's got these notches in the cowling, and there's a notch on either side of the Scale 7 outboard lower end unit. So just like the original smaller plastic cowling, get all my water lines tucked under there, and that just snaps on just like that. So no issues with that coming off when I'm running it. Here's 3 battery options I have for this tunnel haul. These 3600 milliamp 3S packs, SMCs. I just stack them, put these straps around it, and then that pack goes right in here, plugs into this series adapter, or unplug this, and I can run either of these 2 packs. Both of these are 4S. This is high voltage, 4400 milliamp hour SMC pack, and this OptiPower 4000 milliamp hour 4S pack. So this late in the year, I'll probably just run some laps. I'm not going for a saw run with this. I think the best I did on 6S packs was 55 miles an hour. But she said scoot along pretty good with one of these 4S packs in her. So we'll get this out and run it shortly. Next week, hopefully. I also have the 33 ready to go again for its next run. Changed my setup a little. Loosen it up. So set it up on my milling machine and running my indicator across the surfaces here, because now I'm working in on the prop shaft angle in tenths of a tenth of a degree. So on the prop shaft angle, 0.05 would be half of a tenth. So I was at negative 0.08 on my last run, 127 mile an hour run. So I brought it up to negative 0.03. So less than a half of a tenth, but not all the way to zero. And I've also adjusted the curved turn fin from positive 1/10 to positive 2/10. So I've loosened it up a little bit, then it's ready for another run. And I'm just figuring, with the speeds I'm running and the power I'm dealing with, that, because I've blown it off, when I was using my digital pitch gauge, I found a slight difference. So when I had it at what I thought was zero, it was actually positive 1.5 tenths of a degree, my prop shaft angle. So what I'm figuring I need to do to push it to the next level, get over the 130 mark, maybe even shooting for 140. So we'll get this out there, and if the weather lets me, and run it again next week. And who's to say, when I ran 135, setting with a digital pitch gauge, that it was exactly positive 1.5 degrees. I just don't like the 1 degree blinking 2. Where is it? So maybe it was at 0 but blinking -1, and maybe it was just positive a half of a tenth of a degree. I don't know. But that's how I'm going about setting this up now, is indicating my surface in, so now I know what I have. I thought I knew with the digital pitch gauge, and now I know when I set up on my mill machine and indicate it in. Tell me you guys don't do this. You ever pick up a boat that you've built, as far as looking at it, checking it out, and just appreciate the feel of it in your hands? I do it all the time. Just like the feel of my boats when I'm picking them up, carrying them to the water, putting them in the stand. A little weird maybe, but yeah, just something I've noticed. In my last video, I ran the Animal Twin Cat and didn't do so well with my driving, admittedly. And kind of was, but kind of wasn't doing the saw run. Was just going to run it a bit, and then end up doing the saw run, and had a couple power cuts. And yeah, I really didn't have my head into the setup, what I had going on. I didn't preheat my lipos in this colder weather, so that's part of it. But I got a selection of props for it that I've been kind of looking at here and trying to decide what I'm going to run next on the animal. I have these Oxidine Marine stainless props. And the one thing I don't care about this, I commented to Bill Oxidine, they're not marked very well. So A46, R&L, left and right. And he said they're marked. They're etched on the prop. And yeah, that's all that's on there. Sometimes on his website, he'll say the diameter and the pitch. But I really want to know the rake angle, because that's a critical part of your tune. So what I've done with his stainless props that are not marked, one set is, it's actually marked, or it says on the website, I'm not sure which, they're 1823s. 1.8 diameter, 2.3 pitch. But again, they're rake angle. So line them up with other props. I believe they're not 19-degree rake angles. But either way, I got to go over this one, think about where I am with my setup and what I want to do with the boat, and figure which of these props I want to run on it next. I have a pair of these 1817-1745 ABC props. The other one's on my first 33 right now. But I think I got my best speed with this boat on these props, 113 miles an hour. So pretty tried and true prop, the 1817-1745. I also have prepped a pair of ABC 1917-1745s. So basically the same prop with a little bigger diameter. So pushing the weight of this boat, this being a little bigger boat. And then I have this nasty pair of props. Love these props. But one thing with these props that's, I would say a little worrisome as far as running them on this catamaran, the 23-degree rake angle. That means she's going to run really loose. But these are a gorgeous set of props. Like I say, just nasty looking. I ran them, but I don't remember how fast I ran and how hard I pushed the boat. So we'll figure it out what we're going to run next on the animal. And weather permitting, we'll get it out there and run it. Before I put this away, let's take a quick look at these stainless steel CNC machine props. So they're only marked as A46. And that's what it says on his website. And as far as size of the prop, it says 45.7 diameter, which is exactly 1.8 inches, the metric conversion, and high rake. I would like more specs on them so I know how it's going to affect the tune of my boat. But comparing these next to ABC props, they look like, to me, like they're 1817, 1745 props. Looking at the size of the blade, so the blade area ratio, and looking at what's the rake angle. So I would like to more information, but he does not give it. Definitely good props. I know they takes a lot to turn them. Probably being stainless, you can thin the blades more because stainless is stronger. Feels to me like these take more to turn these than it does the ABC 1817, 1745 props. The last boat I'm going to talk about in this video is my original 33. This is still set up. It's in what I call 116 mile an hour trim on 6S. As far as all my settings, CG, curve turn fin, prop shaft angle, and prop, and electronics, and lipos. But, and I'm thinking, hopefully, I'll have enough weather to do it this year. Maybe not, but I want to seriously run some laps with this boat. The electronics that I have in here, I think would do real well. Laps on 6S and possibly even 4S. I don't know a lot about running laps, but I think what I have here, like this motor, this CM motor, it's a 40-40 can, which is a 40-74 millimeter long can. It's a 2850 kV motor. Got the Castle Hyder X ESC. So that should do really well on 6S, and I'm guessing on laps on 4S also. So I want to get this out there and run it on laps. Probably set the curved turn fin at 0. Maybe a little bit of negative on the prop shaft angle, and play around with some props. Get it out and run some laps. This is a very nice 33, in my opinion. It's done me well. She topped out at 122 miles an hour with similar electronics to what I got in her now, but then I burn them up. But yeah, I think watching a rigger, especially a ZippKits rigger, if I may, running some strong laps is a beautiful thing. So I've ran laps, but never really spent a lot of time trying to run some good laps as far as working on the setup and driving. So definitely something that I'm thinking I can pursue still yet this year. So yeah, we'll get this 33 out, run some laps with her.